Jack, just let me know.
Thank you. Letting me know. Or I say something to embarrass.
Cat,
Yeah.
come here. Come here, look at the window over here. Do you see this? Get your phone ready. Cat, come here.
I'm coming.
Got your phone ready? Get your phone ready.
Yeah, it's ready.
Come
It's
here.
Ready. It's ready.
Look at this guy.
He's been up there. It used to be Bird's spot.
Cat in the window.
She got big.
I can't really hear you, but I'm going. All right, we're live streaming here. I need to get some new gloves soon. Got tons of paint. Need new gloves. All right, what's going on, everybody? Today is a open promo zone day on this this channel. You are free to promote and talk about the things that you do or like to do, etc., etc. Moon. Let's see. Message display, delay, blocked words, anything. All right. So we're just going to leave the settings. I'm just checking out these settings real quick. So here we go. I'm going to do some painting right now. How about that, people? I'm going to move this a little bit further away. Actually, you know what? Maybe I should even move it closer. We're going to move this closer, as close as I can possibly get, and just fill the screen with this painting here. And let's get started. What a day. What a wonderful day to paint. Just straight up painting this wonderful painting. There's this little thing right here that I'm having trouble with. It's like this weird little, it's supposed to be a mouse. It's a toy mouse. But it is giving me a bit of a challenge because I haven't really established it very well in this painting. It kind of just, you're just like, what the heck is that, right? You're looking at it, you're like, what the heck is that? So this is when some problem solving comes in. I find a lot of art to just be problem solving. Looking at something, figuring out why it's not working the way it is now, and then figuring out what you're going to do to solve that. But before I get started, let me get some paint. I want to organize some of my paints here real quick. My space here is a little bit disorganized right now. And I feel like I should organize at least once every, couple of sessions, just so we can have a consistent method of organization. Now let's see, we got this white paint right here. Let me grab some more of my white paint.
Look at the cats. I opened the window. Viewers, tell Emmett to look at the window so you can see his cats.
All right, I got a Lucas brand zinc white here. I'm gonna put this white down. And we've got another warm white over here. This is Michael Harding Colors. And let's see, let's pop out some more of our smaller tubes. Bring out some more of our smaller tubes here. Starting to use some more Xander. All right, there, Xander, there's your shout out. What do you want to promote today? I don't know if you're here to promote anything. If you are, you're totally welcome to. Promote a YouTube channel, promote whatever it is that you wish to promote. It is an open promo here today for anybody that wishes to do so. No pressure though. If all you want to do is just chill and get involved with this painting, that's cool too. So here we go. Let's see, we've got a little bit of red right here. Got tons of reds. I'm surprised at how much reds I have, which means I need to use more of them. I need to use more reds. I have an abundance of greens. Should pick up some of these yellows here. Let me grab a yellow. I have a lot of reds, but I'm pretty limited on yellows. But that's all right. We can always get more paint, right? Always buy more. What's this red in my yellow section? All right. So we're gonna get started here in just a second. What's up, Dave? Eat meat. That's the message. That's the message you want to promote. Fantastic. So do you have a steak company? Do you run a company for carnivores? Do you make food for dogs and cats? Whole foods for dogs and cats? What made you want to promote the idea of eating meat? Or did you just want to troll the vegetarians out there? That's a perfectly fine thing to do too, if you just wanted to troll vegetarians. But here we go. Laying down a bunch of red. And we're going to start painting. Actually, I should add a little bit of... I got my blue. Got my white over there. I think I need a little bit of an ochre, a yellow ochre. Let's pull out some yellow ochre here. And we're going to be working on this. So... this is a funny live stream. It's interesting because, you know, you're watching from the context of a YouTube live stream, but what it usually is just like internal conversations in my own head as I'm painting. And if you can imagine that, like, somebody just sitting there talking to themselves while they paint. It's kind of an amusing situation, but I use this live stream. If this is your first time here, second time, third time, I don't always say this, but this is totally pretty much like a stream of consciousness type thing, you know? I just stream and I express what's on my mind, both via the actual painting and my thoughts via words. So if you've ever heard of like a stream of consciousness, it's a pretty interesting idea. And I try not to limit what I say too much, but of course I have to have some filters, which I do have some filters, but for the most part, a lot of what I say is what's on my mind. But here we go. I got this red, and what I want to do is I want to take this red and really find some areas to highlight this red just a little bit better. This green shouldn't really be here that much, and we're gonna go like this. And then I'm going to add a little bit of highlight into these reds right here, just a little bit. There's some pieces, some bits of red in the background here, but they kind of disappear, so I'm not too worried about making them stand out. Just making sure to get all the paint out of these tubes. Always have just this little bit of paint left in them. And I really like to make sure that I get them all out, all of it out before I put the tube away, because it's actually like a lot of paint. You can paint a lot of surface area with just the tube, with just the paint that is inside the tube after you feel like you squeezed it all out. So here we go. For this piece, obviously, really focused on just expressing color expression here. And I'm reaching a point where I'm pretty much almost done. I'm reaching a point where I can really just start to do things just to add texture, add some design to it. I find it an interesting thing painting nowadays because, you know, we have cameras are nothing new to us, right? Cameras are so totally a part of our lives. It's attached. We literally have like phones attached to our hands. And I was listening today to these artists from the 1900s. You might know some of them: Picasso, Matisse, Cézanne, Renoir, Braque. And it's so interesting to think about them because they were becoming artists just as the video camera became a thing. And they were having quite the crisis, similar to what we might be having now with AI. And they had crises, you know, not knowing what was going to become of their artwork. And I think the suggestion is, I haven't fully finished the book, but I think the suggestion is that, you know, Picasso had all these different experiences, these crises that he dealt with, that it's part of what led him to create his Cubist idea, because he was constantly trying to come to terms with being an artist. He was trying to come to terms with photography and coming up with something different, while Matisse and all these other great artists were around him competing with him. And you know, it's a challenging time for artists back during the invention of the first cameras. So here we go. I'm really just building color up right now. Building up color and texture here. Let's go into here, and we're just going to go. And let's go ahead and try to bring in some yellow here. We're going to bring in some yellow. And let's lay down a little bit of yellow. And we're going to find a space to add some yellow here. How do we bring in some color variety, right? That's the question, is how do we bring in some more color variety? I don't want this to just be any old flat looking colorful painting. I want there to be a lot of dimension here. A lot of color and dimension. Otherwise, it's just you know, just feels like there could be so much more added to it. I really like paintings that you can look at and you see like a texture. You see a feeling, a sensation. You can look at it and it hits all of your senses. You know, it hits the visual sense, it hits the tactile sense. Maybe you can almost even smell it. And that's what I try to capture, is, you know, that full 360-degree sensation that you can get from a painting. So here we go. We're going to go right here. we're going to go build up this color. I should probably go a little bit thicker with this. I'm still being kind of a wimp with these colors right now. A wimp with colors as in, you know, I'm going into this painting, but I'm not really like building up the texture and the color in the way that I'm thinking I want to. And that's just getting me to consider like what areas really need the most work, which areas I need to add more color variety. And here we go. So this little pair right here needs a couple of colors right there. I'm going to go right into here just to add more color right there. And here we go. So I hope you're all doing fantastic as we do this painting right here. Let's grab some of this purple now. I'm going to grab this purple. And we're going to add some of this purple into these red areas. So we're going to go like this. And here we go. We're going to use this to color some of the grapes. And let's build up some of these grapes with the purple here. We're going to come around and here we go. Just to add some more pops of color here. We're going to use this purple to just keep building up in different areas. This is a grape right there, so that's okay. This needs a bit more highlight, so we're going to grab some white here. And I want to add some highlight into this purple right this area. And let's grab some white to add little bits of highlight on top of these grapes. And let's see how I can use this purple in other creative ways. So I got this really nice purple here. And just thinking about other creative ways I can build in some of these colors. Let's see. Maybe throw in some of the purple into this guy. We'll throw into this guy here. And here we are. So we're going to go. I want to reduce the whiteness of this highlight. And just reduce the overall coloration of this highlight right here. It looks like a platypus to me. I don't necessarily know how I'm going to change that to make it look more like a mouse or whatever this animal is. I don't even know. It's a stuffed animal that we got for our cats. And I can't really tell what it is, but maybe that's what this represents, and maybe that's the right way to do it. But we'll see, or maybe I'll keep working on it until it finally clicks. Don't know yet for sure. We will always have more to do. Let's go like this. Let's grab some of this green here. Let's go up here. And let's use this green and try to bring this orange green highlight. And we're going to take a nice thick chunk of paint and come around this way. Come around this way. Add another nice thick chunk of paint. And just using an impasto technique, which means that we are basically just using really thick paint, just layering it on thick layers of paint to create the painting rather than just creating this really smooth surface. And ultimately what that does is it just gives a different look. That's it. It just gives a different look. And it creates some nice texture, some nice dimension that makes the painting look like a painting. And you know what? Some people don't like their paintings to look like a painting. They like it to look like photographs, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, we all gotta find our senses of expression, how we want to express our ideas, and there we have it. So we're going like that, and then we're gonna go. There's a deep green in here. And I do have a reference, by the way. I can share it with you in just a moment what my reference is. I am building this painting on top of a reference. This area is going to be a little bit of a contentious zone for me because there's basically just a bunch of green, but I need to find ways to bring in some highlight without making it stand out too much. So that's what I'm doing right now. You know, just adding little bits of highlight here and there. And let's see. This is looking pretty good, actually, with this right now. This has added some dimension, just a little bit to give it some more color. And then let's pull this green again. Grab a nice thick chunk of red. Nice big chunk of green. And these are just different shades of green. I'm adding bits of yellow and other colors to help to establish them. So let's go with this. We're going to go with like a dark blue right over here. And then, let's see, how can I use this darker shade anywhere else? My goal ultimately at this point is to help make a couple more things stand out. I'm not necessarily focused on, I'm not totally focused on making it look exactly like what I'm seeing. But I am definitely interested in how I can start to add more color variety across the entire thing so that I can have a more interesting painting. So I've got this green right now. Let's go like this. I could probably mess with this green and our yellow ochre here. Let's see what our green and yellow ochre gives us. We're going to go like this. And build our green into here. And then there's a bunch of leaves like right here. A bunch of leaves right here. And let's grab some yellow. I'm going to need some more yellow here. I'm going to go for a cad yellow hue. We're going to work with our cadmium yellow hue here as we build up some other areas. This cadmium yellow hue by Winton Oil Colors. That's a big chunk of yellow. And let's see, we're going with the bright yellow, bright green yellow. And you know what? We can just build up some of the areas like here. And by doing this, I'm really just adding like little definitions, little pops of color that stand out amongst what's already here. And it's not necessarily adding too much definition as much as I am just helping to make these colors pop where I can. And here we go. We're actually going to grab our ochre here to bring in some of the colors around here. These little pops of ochre, I think, are enough to help us bring out some spaces here. And you know what's interesting is I think the biggest challenge of painting like this, if you're a beginner artist, is really this feeling of, am I wasting paint? Because you know, I think I could easily fall into the trap of like, you know what, if I just paint thinner and if I use the traditional way of painting, I can just use little dabs of paint and just build up the color. But when you start painting like this with these really thick strokes, you really have to be comfortable with just taking a huge chunk of paint on your brush, loading it, you know, like this. This would make a traditional artist cringe because this is way too much paint. But, you know, you just got to be comfortable with that. And I think that's probably the hardest, for lack of a better term, the hardest hump to get over if you want to start painting really thickly, if you want to start, you know, painting in a way that's much more expressive with your paint. And that could be a challenge because, you know, we're all in a different, everybody's in a different financial situation, and I don't know how hard paint is to come by for everybody. But if you're not like, you know, constantly buying art supplies, then it can seem like, hey, if you only have a limited amount of paint, the last thing you want to do is use like a quarter of a tube of paint on one leaf. So I would say that's probably the biggest challenge, is figuring out is overcoming that mental barrier of feeling like, you know, paint has to be used more economically or whatever. So again, the style isn't for everybody. These methods aren't for everybody. It's one of those things where you have to get really comfortable with using thick layers of paint, thick parts of paint, like thick amounts of paint without, you know, because the actual application is easy. We all know the application. You've been watching me do it. I load up the brush. You know, I put a lot of paint on a brush. I find a good spot to put it, and I put it down. I pick up paint, and I put it down. That's it. That's what I do. I pick up paint, and I put it down. And here we go. Let's add a bit more of this yellow and our ochre here. We're going to go like this. So I'm finding a little too much green here. So let's add a hint of red to try and neutralize some of this green. There we go. And let's figure this section out right here. I need a light yellow ochre. I've got too much green on my brush right now, which means I need to figure out how to use it, how to get rid of it before I start this next section. So I want like a light white green. That's what I'm going to go for. And let's go like this. And we're going to go bring this out into another section as well. And here we go. Just building up the paint here. Oh yeah, and I could probably bring some of this color into this space as well. There's like these little, it's like a little acorn. I don't know. Just building up the acorn. Using the white to just outline some of the color of this acorn that has changed it. And this ultimately just helps to add some dimension to our work. And I see this section probably needs a bit of this touch right here, now that I'm seeing it. And here we go. So adds a bit of color there. Let's try to add in some more colors into here as well. And here we go. Let me show you all what we are actually painting. Let me clean off this brush for a second, and we will actually show you what exactly is my reference, how I'm even coming up with these colors, because I'm not making it up out of my head. Yes, a little bit, like, you know, I am making up a little bit, but the majority of this is pretty much stuff that I'm already looking at. I'm looking directly at a reference here. So here we go. Bam. This is our reference. I set this up the other day. We've been painting on this for a couple days. So, you know, we got a bookend here, a hammer above that, a mouse, some fake shrubbery, and another little plant right there. And that is how we are coming up with some of the things that we're coming up with. And now, let's see. I said that I wanted to work on this guy. This guy, he's got a little bit too much orange. He's a little too warm. I want to bring out some of his the full scope of color in this figure, which means I want to add some highlights. So that's what this ochre really is for, is to bring out some highlights in this figure. I do like how it's looking though. He's got a bit of drama. You know, there's a little bit of drama. The color's really dark and moody. The colors are dark and moody. You know, there's drama going on. I like it. I like a little bit of drama in my artwork. So here we go. Let's see how we can bring this down, really. And it is a little bit harder because I have a lot of texture under here. There's a painting that I did that was really like had really thick layers of paint on top of it, and I'm painting over it. So therefore there is a lot of like lumps and stuff. So I can't just paint a totally smooth painting. This has to be painted in with some quite different methods. And here we go. Bringing some of this into our shadow areas, but just a little bit, not too much. And let's go with a full-on ochre here. And we're just gonna bring this up. Full-on ochre color here. Just to add some color variety into our leg here. Just to capture what I'm seeing, you know? And here we are. If anybody is here that has an idea or channel or whatever it is that they do that they want to promote, feel free to. This is an open promo room. So I'm seeing some greens, and I'm going to go ahead and just grab a bit of this yellow green and keep up with this like warm green color that we've got going on. We're just going to use this for some of the shadows in here. And let's go down with this. And this actually makes him feel like he's part of the shrubbery a little bit. So that's kind of neat. Gives an illusion that it's reflecting on him just a bit. And let's find just a really light hint of blue. We're going to find a very light blue on top of here. Let's try to find some ways that bring this blue into our hat. I really like this blue that I made. Sometimes I'll like make a color and I find that I really like it, and I'll just try to add it somewhere into the painting. But I really like this blue, even though I don't really have much of it. But let's go into here. We're gonna do our best to find some shadows here. We're gonna go bring this down a little bit. And then let's go up here like so. And as long as he doesn't totally lose his shape, we're pretty good. What I need to do now is I need to define some of the toes here. So the toes in this figure, we're going to use this blue to help to define some of the foot shape, just to create like a separation. It's not going to be totally outlined, but we do want to give it this sense of feet and sandals, but not totally, because that's not the main thing that we're trying to see on this. It's not how good can I paint these feet. Because after all, these are interpretations of feet from another artist. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5. And just using this like beautiful little blue to capture some of our dust areas. You know, rather than trying to paint the dust, how can we, what's going on in my mind is how can I actually capture this idea of dust, but in a nice way, right? And that's by using just a, instead of using like this gray white color, I can use this nice blue that we've made and just capture the color without, you know, trying to show that it's dusty. You know, capture the beauty of what we're seeing, not so much exactly what we're seeing, right? To find the exciting elements that make this a unique, characteristic painting. And here we go. Bringing some of this, let me bring in a little bit of our yellow ochre into the front of this hat here. And we're going to add a little bit of this highlight to the top of the arm just to create some separation here and give it a sense of highlight. And then another right here. And now let's see what we can do about this apple here in the back. It's pretty much in a shadow, but you know what? I don't need to leave it in a shadow. That is a total personal choice of whether I allow what I'm seeing to dictate exactly what I do, or whether I'm going to allow myself my personal decision to guide exactly what I'm going to do. And that's where I think an element of creativity comes in. And here we go. And just going to add some of these reds in again. Actually, I want to add a thicker layer of red here. And this is going to help us create this like appley look. This look of a textured apple. And there we go. All right, that did a pretty good job. Just adding these little hints of green and yellow created plenty of contrast. But actually, I also want to bring this area in a little bit. This part should be a little bit curved. So I'm going to take our red, and this is how we're going to manage this area. And this is looking good. I'm going to add a little bit of highlight into the stem. Use some color into the stem. Some bright colors into the stem. And I feel pretty good with this section. Let's see what else we can work on. Let's go with a little bit of red and this ochre. And you're gonna grab the ochre again. And let's go right across just to add a little bit of detail. And what do we got to do with this guy? This little fella is really giving me some troubles, because I'm looking at it and I'm like, what is this thing, right? What the heck is this weird platypus doing? What the heck is this platypus doing, right, in this painting? It makes no sense, right? So I got to figure out a way to make it work. Or maybe it just becomes this thing that's here. And that's just how it is. It's just here. I'm try to find little bits of yellow highlight spaces anywhere I could find it. Right in there. And then right in here. And then let's go. And here we go. Let me add a better looking stem to this guy, or this girl, whatever. It's a fruit. It's not a guy or a girl. Let's see how else we're going to do this. I will grab our yellow here. And how can I use this yellow in an interesting way? I want to create some dimension here. Some dimension here. And before I move too much further, I got to clean off this brush. I have this other painting I'm working on here at the same exact time. Got this painting, and basically I just use this to wipe off my brush. And what we need is a little bit of black. I'm going to grab our black here. And let's see how we're going to build this little guy up. We're going to add a couple shadow areas right here. And you know what? I'm going to darken this section here just to give a bit more of a separation of color here. effect there. And let's find, here's an error area. Here's an error area that's going to probably cause problems. This space right here, I really want to establish some more green zones. And here we go. We got this light green. Want to bring in some little dots right here so that we basically reduce the spread of the red. I want to reduce the there's like this little section you probably wouldn't have noticed, but there's like a little section down here that the red was from the hammer was going outwards. I don't really like that. It's not too big of a deal, but it was distracting me from the detail of the hammer. And then now let's go like this. We're gonna come into here, add some nice thick layers of paint. And we'll add some color variety amongst these little paint specks, these splashes of paint. I want to add some more colors by adding some yellows into here. I think this space is okay. If we move from right to left from here on out, I think we're pretty good. Let's see, this section, move from right to left. I like what we got going on there. I want to tighten up this section a bit. Let's clean off this brush again. Let's see how we can tighten this space up. I need to bring in a nice chunk of red. Red and ochre is what we're going to mix with. And we're going to go like right here. All right, that's good. Let's find another area here. Actually, no, I could add some of this color into the feet section. Just a little hint of like red, yellow, ochre mix. I don't know exactly what color that would make, red and yellow ochre. It's like a reddish brown yellow. But I want to add some of this into the space right here. we're going to add some streaks of red right across. And let's see what we can do with this body. I feel like this leg needs to move back just a little bit further. Now that I'm looking at this. But what we can do is use like this ochre, an ochre color, some yellow in our ochre. We just paint up. And now clean that brush off again. We're going to take our green, and I want to be able to clear out the area around this figure. There's a little bit, I don't really like this like negative space around him. It kind of ruins the shape a little bit. So it does mess up the shape of this figure a little bit. So we're going to make stuff up and like paint into him a bit. Got some leaves going into him right there. We're going to have some little beads of whatever these little beads are. There's some type of fruit. Are these grapes? Kat, do you know if these are grapes, these little pieces?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
What?
The little things that are growing on this branch, are they grapes? There's like grapes, and then there's like these little clumps of round stuff.
I don't know. It's
Huh?
just a decoration.
You think they're grapes?
No. It's just
No?
a decoration.
You don't know?
I don't know.
I can't really hear you, but
Little flowers that grow outside.
oh.
Nothing important.
Here we go. Let's grab some white to highlight some of this. And whatever this big blue section right here, I actually like the big blue section. It's a little bit mysterious. It's like, what's going on in there? I'm going to leave some of the blue and just leave like, you know, this area fairly obscure. Maybe add some green into here, make it look more shrub-like going into that space. And we could add some highlight detail into this section right here. It's really a variety of things here going on, so I want to capture that. And there's like an apple, a pear back here that needs some yellow-green color. And let's see how we can bring in a fresh, bright red into some of these grapes here. So we're moving from like right to left pretty much is the way we've been moving recently. So right now, just trying to grab some yellows and this deep red to add some more detail into here. And let's see how we can add this. We're going to add yellow. And since this paint is still wet, I can actually pretty much just blend right into it. If I've got this yellow right here. Got this yellow. This yellow red. It just gives a little bit of a color variation. And let's go with this, and we're going to add some of this color into here. And some of these objects, I don't even know what they are. I guess they're some sort of citrus fruit growing or whatever they are. I don't know. This annoying mouse. I don't even know what to do with it. What should I do with this thing? It just looks so out of place. Just looks out of place. Let's try to maybe bring this forward a bit, and that'll make more sense. A little bit better. A little bit better. Let's see if we can actually add some black into this. Or rather than black, we'll do a black Prussian blue. And see if we can use this to create some division within this mouse thing. So that we can give it some more variety of shadows and stuff. And here we go. I think we're almost there. Or am I just deluding myself as far as this goofy mouse that I decided to put here goes? Let's grab our yellow. We need a nice pure yellow here and just start working in some of these areas. Just want to build up these yellows. And let's see, how can we navigate this space in here? Let's add this yellow. And let's actually use this color, might as well at this point, to fill in some of these spaces. Gonna mix in the white. Just dot the white. Grab some yellow, dot the yellow. And then the thick green, and dot the green into here. Just to create this color dimension. I think this part's looking better than some of these areas. And I think the reason is because I actually used some really thick amounts of paint. And it feels like more, I think it feels a bit more natural as far as how I laid down the colors. So I'm going to go in here and do pretty much the same thing to allow the white to basically pop up a bit more, to give it like this more painterly, natural feel. And let's see. Yeah, okay, this is starting to give it some more life here, right? We're getting some more life on this painting. Some more life. Breathing life into this painting here. And what does it need that I'm missing? One thing, I don't know if it's actually how it's gonna turn out. Hope it turns out good. I don't like making vines and like stems and stuff. I feel like it's an unnecessary detail that you could just pretty much leave out of paintings. But I'm gonna go and make the effort to give a couple of vines, you know, just to give it this sense that there are vines here. I don't see too many, honestly, but where I do see vines, I feel like they add a little bit of character. They add just the tiniest bit of character to the painting, which is quite helpful. And you know what? I'm not going to spend too much time to make sure that you can see it, because, you know, when you're looking at the vines anyway, they pretty much disappear. Like, when you're looking at the actual thing itself, you're not thinking about the individual vine or like where it's at, what it looks like. You know, you kind of just like look, and then if you look closer, you see the vine, and, you know, in a sense, that's the illusion that I'm creating, right? You're not looking for the vine. The vine's just there. So it doesn't matter too much exactly like where or how I'm stacking these vines. As long as, you know, there's like these lines that kind of cross through and you're just like, oh, there's a vine. I'm just sharing in that area, you know, this idea of like the illusion. You know, you got to choose what to put people's attentions on. And sometimes there are things that are important, and then some things that you got to like, that you can figure out the best way to do it without pulling the attention away from, you know, everything else that's happening. So let's see, we're going to go into here, grab our yellow. Just here to add pops of color. Just adding these pops of color here. And I really love how this purple right here is like popping out against everything else. Let me see what else we can do here. I think the space up here is making stuff sort of disappear, and I don't like that. So what I think I got to do is I got to grab some of this color again from the other day. I need to mix in some of this color. We're just going to take our purple. We're going to make a white. Grab our white. Grab this. Mix this purple in here. And we're going to find a way to blend this area so that the section doesn't disappear too much. Seems to just be disappearing into the darkness, you know? And I don't really want that. Seems to just like disappear into the abyss. And I like some of the black. Like some of this, a little bit of this space that's black from the underpainting.
Oh, thank you.
But I don't want too much of it.
Kitties remind me
I want to create this like this sense of like fog. And oh yeah, so there we go. That's enough to create like a haze. But let me see if I can just darken the haze just a little bit to give it some drama. Let's use a Prussian blue here, mixed in with our purple. Grab more of this blue here. And we're just going to give a really, just to give it some more color, because it kind of lost, I used too much white and it lost a little bit of the color. But good thing that it's wet, so these colors, it's still wet. Oil paint takes a while to dry, so fortunately, you know, I can allow these colors to really do some magic on the canvas while I'm painting, you know. And that's where the benefits versus, oh, what's up, Michael? Dude, Michael is here. What's going on? White, light blue, perfect. You're exactly speaking what I swear I was not looking at the chat, but I think we are on the same page as far as you know, creative ideas. So great to get your thoughts. Glad we were on the same page. Yes. So yeah, that's definitely one of the great things for anyone wondering of oil paint is that you have a lot of opportunity to let your colors work, let the paint work, let the paint blend in together, let the paints just become one with the canvas. If I'm gonna speak in philosophical terms, become one with the canvas. While I think for like past acrylics, like you really just can't let your colors blend in the same way. And that can create, it doesn't really create issues. You just have to be like, I guess, more specific about which colors you use, and you lose a little bit of the freedom of mixing colors. But what you do gain if you're an acrylic painter, I think, is, you know, you can just paint over areas. You can really define an area. Like if I was to outline this, let it dry in like 20 minutes, and then you could paint around it without letting the, let's say this was black and I was trying to paint around it. My brush right now would pick up the black and then drag it across the rest of the painting. But if I was using, you know, if I was using acrylic, this would probably be dry by now, and I could just start to paint around it. But that's looking good. I really like how this blue turned out. See the contrasting colors. Step back and look. Yes, stepping back to look is always so important. Great reminder. But there we go. So let me just use this dry brush to brush in some more of the blues to give it like this sense of fading into the red. The red's still a little bit dry, so I'm not going to do it too much. But there is some good contrast all around, I think. I think there's a good amount of contrast all around. You know, there's like this I call this the beauty toxic cloud. The beautiful toxic cloud, because if you're ever in Los Angeles, what you'll find is that at night, sometimes the sky can be this beautiful, or during the day, the sky can be this beautiful pink red. And supposedly what that is it's not actually just a beautiful sunset. Sometimes it's because of the chemicals that are in the air. The chemicals that are in the air that result in this like really colorful sunset or sunrise. So I call this the beautiful toxic atmosphere. Can always put thin oil paint on top of thicker oils. Right on. Without it dragging other colors. Good point. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Might have to experiment with that in the future. But for now, I got these elements. I'm still thinking about this dumb mouse that I put in here that is really screwing up my day. Because I'm looking at it, I'm like, this mouse here is really screwing up my day. This mouse here is going to take a lot of work. I'm not opposed to doing a lot of work, but it's just like, I don't know how I'm going to make this look like. It just looks like this weird, random thing that's here. Rather than a stuffed animal. So maybe what I should play with. I see a lot of green. I think going with this like brown yellow is okay, but I got to find a way to make it, give it its own. I find a way to differentiate it. Or maybe I could go the super detail route. Turn it into a pumpkin. Hey, that actually could work. There's this nice little circle right here. That might work. It would just be really challenging to... Let me see. I think the dimension would make it really weird. Unless I was going to abstractify it. I'm going to stick with the mouse, but I'm going to find a way to... I'm going to use this small brush. I'm going to take this brush. It's a very like fibery brush. The hairs are all splayed out, and then I'm gonna work on just building up the color here with maybe I just need to define these ears a little bit better. And then define this back ear over here. You want the brush? Yes, I know you do. The pumpkin's actually a pretty good idea, but I feel like the change would be too much. I mean, I guess I could, but I'm not opposed to the challenge of doing a pumpkin, but I feel like doing the pumpkin, the change would be so drastic that the challenge really is how to make this mouse work. That would be the challenge that I feel would be the most productive. But I do like that thinking, though. That is definitely very, very good thinking. Like changing it to a pumpkin. I love that idea, though. I think it really just comes down to working on building this figure up and Let's see if we can add like a thin black line for this, for the whisker here. Mm. This whisker looks so funny. All right. Let's add some of this highlight here. And let me add some of this white up here. Let me clean off this brush. I think this is actually working, what I'm doing with this mouse. You know, it does look like something that's a little bit off. That's a little bit confusing as to what it is, but I'm okay with that. If I just keep working and working it, painting, over painting on top of it, eventually I'll get something. I know there's a rule that says you shouldn't do that, but you know what? I'm gonna break that rule just because I'm obsessed with this idea of how can I make this mouse look more mousy? How can I make this figure look like I'm willing to break this rule for the sake of figuring out this little guy? So Michael, what's good with you? Are you still acrylics? You can't get the white to show up like this. Hey, so Michael, are you still working on your landscape? How's that going, dude? What's going on with your landscape? And you know what also I think is wrong is these little areas right here. This needs to like look like let's grab some of this white here. And a few areas of touch up. Finish this skyline, a few areas of touch up. Awesome, man. Good to hear. Good to hear that you are nearing the final. I'm guessing it's the final parts of your painting. So let's go here. I really want to use this purple somehow. So we're going to grab this purple. And I'm going to go a little bit. And here we go. We're going to go around like so. So this is starting to look like a little rabid mouse, right? I think this is starting to give it some character here. I think we're getting into the finalization of this mouse. I don't care if it looks too accurate, but I just want it to like be somewhat there. I blame the person who designed this mouse in the first place. If you're watching, you made the hardest mouse to draw to make it actually look like a mouse. I don't accept responsibility for my actions. Totally kidding, by the way. That is a joke. It is not a hilarious, laugh out loud, lose your mind kind of joke, but yeah. It's my motivation humor. So here we go. Let's use this purple, capture some of the lights in this tail. And there's a really dark area right here. It doesn't need to be so dark. Yo, put a smiley face on it. Oh, you're saying this area is a little bright? Yeah, I was actually looking at this section right here, and I was like, it's really bright. Because on the camera, it actually looks white, but here it's actually a slightly darker pink with hints of purple. But I know what you're saying, and I was actually thinking about that. So since you mention it, I probably will do that here in just a moment. What's up? What's up, Corey? How you doing, dude? And boom, 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 boom. I mean, he kind of has a smiley face. You know what? It is looking like a mouse. Or it's looking more like some type of beaver or a very thick-haired, like, beaver or something. But it is working. Maybe I need to spread out my marks a bit more to give it these little areas of color rather than... As long as it fits the an old man nap. It's an old man nap. What is an old man nap? Because I take naps. I don't know how my naps now would be any different today than it would be in, let's say, however many years it takes me to reach the same age as you. So going for these like dark purple with the Prussian blue here. And going for like a dark Prussian blue. Yeah, we'll keep going with this. Darken this area right here. This Prussian blue purple is what we're going for. Leave a little bit of this highlight. I don't want to like totally, eliminate the light here. Like, I like the idea that, you know, some of these things have like an aura that gives off light in a way. About 15 minutes. Old man naps. Tapping paint is good. Yeah. Darker? Right here? Darker right here? I don't know. All right. There we go. And work on adding this bit of like a dark blue haze elsewhere. I'm not going to go too much. It does make it pop. It brings it forward a lot. But I feel like it kind of brings it forward a little too much now. But it's okay. I'm going to lighten it a little bit. Let's lighten it with a little bit of a... It's going to go with a little bit of red. Red, white. Red, white. I'm going to lighten it up just a little bit in this area. It's yellow much brighter. Get tapping. Got a good piece here. Thank you, thank you. All right, cool. Well, you know what? I think this piece is going to get a break right now. Kat, what time do you want to go to dinner?
Anytime.
Huh?
Anytime.
Anytime? So I think we're actually about to go to dinner. Kat really wants to go out for some dinner, and I'm getting a little hungry. But I think I will be back to paint later today because I didn't really paint that much, and I'm in a painting mood. But who knows what happens after I've had a dinner. I think it's important for painters to stay hungry because once you've been fed, not only does that food coma hit, but it's like you lose motivation. There's something about being satiated that in a way, takes away your like your drive to do things sometimes. And you know, my goal is to paint after we eat, but you never know. I don't know if I'll be back for sure. But yeah, this whole idea of a starving artist. That's a I don't think the starving artist is necessarily what creates the good artist, but I think it's important for artists to manage their food intake and their daily schedule, not just for health reasons, but because I truly believe that you know, you paint differently early morning on an empty stomach full of energy before you go to the gym or right after you get home from the gym than you do like in the mid-afternoon after you've had a huge meal and you take a nap. Which is why I paint late sometimes, because like, you know, I'll finish work, get home, eat like a meal, and then take a nap. And then that's why I paint late. But dude, take a painting with me and trade it for dinner. That's a good idea. I might try that with a dry painting one day. That's actually a really good idea. Who knows? We'll see. Let's see how that goes, huh? Well, I'll have to come back with results. Maybe I should do a live stream of that. Like, walking into places to try to sell my paint. Tell them after. That's actually a fun idea, and I might be willing to like try that as like a live stream. That'd be pretty amusing, but it'll be hard to carry the painting and do the live stream at the same time. But you know, I hope to I'll make the effort to come back. But with that, hey, take care, everybody. We'll be back in a bit. Bye.